Should I sell my house or rent it out? If you're asking yourself that question, check out this short video where I'm going to give you 7 landmines and how to sidestep them. Hey, this is Bill Eaves of Remax in Bensalem, and we're going to get right into it. If you need the money to move, or if the owner's going into a nursing home and they're forcing the sale, the decision's all but made for you. But if you have the option where you could rent it out and you're thinking about it, let me give you some advice. So let's look at the first one, home maintenance and repairs. Pipes, roof, you know about the big stuff. But you also have other things. For example, little drips. Tenant doesn't want to pay for it, they don't want to deal with it. By the time you find out about it, it's really huge. A lot of landlords make tenants responsible for the first $50 or $100 of a repair, but this is what causes the bigger problem by having the tenant procrastinate. It's not their pipes. So if you get a yearly home warranty and you pay the $50 or $100 service call, it's simple, it's budgeted, and you're not going to have those little things turn into huge things by a tenant just letting things go. Taxes and capital gains. Are you eligible if you sell the house now for a capital gain exclusion? If you are, you have to factor that in. The minute you turn it into an investment property, it now becomes subject to capital gains, and any gain you get will be taxed. You have to keep good records to see what the property is actually worth today, the day you turn it into an investment property. Also, any income you get from the rental eventually goes towards your personal income, and be careful it doesn't put you into the next tax bracket. On the subject of taxes, property taxes and the homestead exemption. If you have the homestead exemption on your property now, that's for owner occupants. It's not for properties that are investments. You will most likely lose the homestead exemption. You definitely want to talk to an accountant about that one. Speaking of accountants, you're going to need to file a different schedule with your 1040. The income that comes from the property, it's not personal income yet. The good news is you can write off a ton of things. So if you usually do your own taxes, at least for the first year, I definitely recommend talking to a CPA, a qualified accountant. A good one should be able to greatly reduce the amount you pay in taxes and the amount of income you get from the property that transfers over to your personal income. It's not going to be the same as your previous filings where that house is concerned. So next big thing, finding a tenant and finding a good one. Vacancies will cost you money, and a bad tenant will cost you even more. Your tenant needs to have good credit, good job stability, good cash, and sufficient funds. With all that, they're probably qualified to buy a house, and they're just choosing to rent. Most landlords don't want tenants with pets or a criminal record. Allowing pets does broaden your potential renter's pool, and it does give you more options. If you do this, I recommend replacing carpets with the vinyl laminate floors, or at least budget for that when you sell. Landlord homeowners insurance. Most people, when they move out of a house and rent it out, don't think to warn or notify the insurance company. But the insurance on a vacant or a rented house is different than the insurance on a house that you're living in. If you don't tell your insurance company and something happens, they could deny your claim based on what they would call fraud. Talk to an attorney about that one. You also want to make your tenant get renter's insurance. It's like a contents policy. That normally reduces the amount that you'll have to pay on your premium. When a tenant gets a renter's policy, they're not very expensive, between $20 and $25 a month for the most part. If they get it through the same place as their car, it may give them a discount on their auto insurance if they have it. If you get it and pay for it through your carrier, you may get that discount. Weigh the pros and cons, talk to your tenant, talk to your insurance person, and see what makes the most sense for you. But make sure they get the insurance. If you do cover it, just bump the rent a little bit to make sure it's covered. That way, you know you have it, assuming your insurance company allows you to do that. I always defer to them. Utilities. Some utilities will stay in the owner's name. Sewer is the most common. The debt for those can be attached to the house as a lien. Many landlords have gone to settlement only to find out there's an astronomical bill that has to be paid from a tenant that just didn't pay their utilities. Tenant moves in, gets it in their name, works out for the first few months. The landlord kind of says, okay, these guys are good, they're still paying it. Next thing you know, they stop. They have a financial crisis. You don't know about it because they're paying your rent. In Philadelphia, PGW can lien your house unless you file the official landlord paperwork with the city. And only then can a PGW debt be set aside if you sell. It's not uncommon for tenants to run up a $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 PGW bill when they're struggling. A good tip here is put those utilities in your name and charge the tenant as part of their rent. The convenience of paying one bill per month helps the tenants out. And you can bump it a little bit to make a little extra profit. Just be careful of electric heat in the winter and electric AC in the summer, running up that PICO bill. HOA fees and rules and mortgage company rules is a bonus one for you. Make sure, if you're in an HOA, homeowners association or condo association, make sure the bylaws allow you to rent that out, because they have a certain percentage that they can't go over, and if they do, it could disrupt their charter, their bylaws, or their insurance. Mortgage companies. If you have a mortgage on the property, the mortgage is most likely for a principal residence. It is a lower interest rate. Mortgage companies have rules about the amount of equity that has to be in a home before you can rent it out. Check with them for that, because you don't want them or the homeowner association foreclosing on you because you broke rules. But if you have enough equity and the mortgage company allows it, you're way ahead of the game because your rate is lower than what investors are paying. So that's a good thing. If you have any legal questions, we have some really good attorneys that we work with. If you need any names or some references, just let me know. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.